How's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7 back again with another view from the van. Hope everybody's okay. Newcastle United remain undefeated this pre-season. A 2-1 victory last night at Ibrox against Rangers, and goals courtesy of Miggy and an absolutely fantastic movement by Harrison Ashby. 2-1. We gifted them their goal, to be fair. We'll get to that a little bit later, but the main talking point from the game actually probably had little to do with the game. It had more to do with what preceded it. And of course, news broke mid yesterday that Saint-Maximin would not be travelling with the squad, was not with the squad up in Scotland. That turned out to be absolutely, on the nail, on the head. And yeah, speculational mania began. As it turned out, that speculation wasn't without substance. It turns out later on, because on Monday Newcastle United had given Saint-Maximin permission to discuss a move to the Saudi Pro League, and that is where he was yesterday. He's still in the UK. He's talking to their representatives from their club. They're working out a deal, wages, etc. The contract that he's been offered is thought to be worth around 200 grand a week, and that's money you're simply just not getting at Newcastle United, certainly currently. So it's huge, huge money, massive money, and you can't blame him from that perspective and that side of it alone, to be honest. If anybody was going to offer you that sort of money, despite your love for the club and stuff like that, you'd have to seriously consider it. Yes, he's in the prime of his career. Yes, we're in the Champions League. It'll be a new experience and stuff like that. But a football career is a short thing, and they will earn as much money as they can by the shortest route necessary. So I can't blame him from that. The fee is, I'm scratching my head a little bit, because reports in France were saying that the fee could be around about 25 million euros. That works out, what, 21 million-ish? That's surely got to be absolutely bullshit, because you look at some of the other fees that have been thrown about and have been paid by the Saudi Pro League since the PIF involvement, and you're talking 40-50 millions here, there and everywhere for players in some cases past 30 years old. This is a Saint-Maximin in his prime, an entertainer, a magician, again, a good name. I know they seem to be going for name value a lot of the time, in the project that they're working on over there. And you're talking 20 million. I can't see it. I think it's got to be north of 30 million, if not closer to 40 million, for Newcastle United to do this business, because Eddie Howe spoke after the game saying, look, it's not a deal that he wanted to do. Not a deal that he wanted to do. He wanted him to stay. He talked about how the fact that the conversation between himself and Saint-Maximin was quite emotional on Monday when this started to develop and this started to move. Like I say, he doesn't want him to go. He still says, I don't want him to go, but he spoke about the necessity under these farcical fucking FFP rules that you've got to sell to then be able to reinvest the money on another couple of deals through the various financial trickery that is on offer these days. It's just absolutely ridiculous. We've got the world's richest owners, but the club is not. We haven't got the world's most money. The two separate things. There's only so much of that money that PIF have got that we can put in and invest, and it's very careful where we can invest on. So it's really a thing of having to wheel and deal and be clever and box clever to be able to get the quality of player in that we need to equip us for the season ahead. And that will mean probably sacrificing at least one good player per season. And I've seen people argue that, and I agree with this to a certain extent, you could sell another 4 or 5 players in the Newcastle United squad who are squad players and who aren't going to get many minutes, and probably get around your £20 million, and you'd save a lot more in wages. But I think, Eddie Howe has constantly talked about evolution and not revolution, and getting rid of just one and saving the money and the wages and then reimbursing that and stretching that out over another 2 or 3 signings. is probably the way to go. It's for me a bitter pill to swallow, because to me we should be building a better squad and a better team, and I'm all for keeping the better players and getting rid of the players who I think are just there sort of making the squad up. You look at the likes of Lewis, who did start last night, funnily enough. You look at the likes of Darlow and those type of players. They're not going to get much minutes, your Manquillos of the world. I would rather get rid of them and then bring in somebody else than get rid of a Saint-Maximin, who I think is one of our better players. I know injury, I know this, that and the other. I accept that argument. However, I've always believed that you keep your better players, you get rid of your poorer players, and you try and trade and bring in better and improve your squad that way. But in Eddie Howe we trust, in the new owners we trust, but I don't trust some of the figures that are being bandied about for the transfer of Saint-Maximin, about 20 million, 21 million. Nah, absolute bullshit in my opinion, absolute bullshit. But we'll see how that goes. It will develop over the next couple of days. I do expect it to go through now. I think too much has been said after last night for it not to go through. Normally Eddie Howe plays his cards extremely close to his chest, politician-esque type, to be honest. But he said a lot which was very unlike Eddie Howe, and again that perhaps shows you how much that it wasn't an emotional situation and how much he didn't really want to do it, that he's let that much information through, to the fans, through the journalists about this deal. So Saint-Maximin looks like he's on his way out. Harvey Barnes looks like he's on his way in. It's a cracking bit of business. I've said that repeatedly. Kyle said that repeatedly on the channel as well. Scores goals and very much is an Eddie Howe type of player. Saint-Maximin's had to adjust to this going forward and doing the dirty side of the game, the defensive side of the game. He's had to adjust. Harvey Barnes is a ready-made, he's like a microwavable meal for Eddie Howe. You whip that, SOB out, you chuck it in the fucking microwave, a couple of minutes, and bang. You can bring Harvey Barnes in, a couple of minutes, couple of training sessions with the rest of his new teammates, and bang, he's ready to go. He'll work defensively backwards for you all day long. He'll get forward, he'll put the ball in the box, he'll get your assists, and he'll get your goals. I think he's had like 34 goals over the last couple of seasons. I remember him breaking onto the scene originally down at Barnsley, and then he's just progressed. He's gone through, into Leicester, done really, really well for them, and he's going to bank them a sizable fee, no doubt about it. They're talking about 34 million pound here or there with some add-ons on for Harvey Barnes, and that sounds about right. To me, the need to bank money, obviously after the relegation, Leicester, they've sold Maddison on. Next looks like it'll be Harvey Barnes, so that'll be fantastic business. And disappointed, but still very, very optimistic for the season. And again, optimistic. I thought we were really, really good last night, especially first half. Watching on Tonali, I think he was the standout moment last night. I think every Newcastle United fan had his eyes firmly on the Italian international, the Italian stallion, no less. And I thought he was absolutely fantastic. He lined up on the right hand side of the sort of three-man midfield, and he looked really, really good, composed, lots of touches of the ball, everything that we thought and then some. And I can't wait to see him integrated in with Joe Linton and Bruno. Bruno didn't have the best game last night, but that's by the by. We know his quality, we know what he can bring to the table. But yeah, Tonali was absolutely fantastic. Elliot Anderson is, again, I thought looked one of our best players. There's no chance in fucking hell that we're loaning out Elliot Anderson. He will get plenty of minutes this season, I've no doubt about it. But yeah, Tonali I thought was really, really good. Elliot Anderson was really, really good. Newcastle started with probably the a decent team, not our strongest, but certainly plenty of international players back after they weren't involved against Gateshead, and all over the place. Karius, I'm really pleased that we've been able to get him signed up. Darlow, one of those players I still think that needs to be moved on. Not fantastic. He came obviously on in the second half. But Newcastle United took the lead. Nice little bit of work, a little bit of interplays, 1s and 2s from the aforementioned players, and yeah, lovely slide ball through Elliot Anderson, through Miggy, beautiful finish. And Miggy last season had a goal scoring summer, took that off into the first part of the season before the World Cup break and looked absolutely fantastic, and he seems to be doing the same this season. Touch wood. A lovely finish, curled, dink round finish by Miggy. And I thought Newcastle United were more than good value. Probably with a better side in the first half. The second half, the substitutions come, and you generally know it disrupts the flow of the game. However, it wasn't much that Rangers did. Newcastle United gifted Rangers the equaliser. Carl Darlow playing a little bit of a suicide ball out to Bruno. Could Bruno move his feet quicker and get rid of the ball? Yes, perhaps he could have. He didn't. Like I touched on before, he didn't have his greatest game. But I'm not going to go on too much about it because it's a pre-season game at the end of the day. The ball was robbed off him and then bang into the back of the net. There's the equaliser, and you're like scratching your head around it. It's not pretty on the eye from a Newcastle United point of view. But we still worked away. Isak coming on, doing sort of typical Isak things. Not an Everton type Isak thing, but he comes on, he creates the cross, does his little bits of magic, oozes fucking class Isak, and yeah, the cross comes in, and a looping header of Harrison Ashby, the right back, the youngster Newcastle United have fought to be able to sign. He's right back, but somehow he's in the centre forward position. He gets the looping header and it goes in the back of the net, and I mean, it's just rewards for the 8,000 Geordies behind the goal. And yeah, absolutely great moment. Looking forward to Harrison Ashby pushing on. He spoke after the game about the fact, look, he's learning from the best in Kieran Trippier. He wants to learn from the best. There's speculation Swansea are after him, they are chasing him, but will he be allowed out on loan? I don't honestly know. I think again, if he stays on Tyneside, he's going to get plenty of minutes with the amount of games that we've got coming up. And I'm intrigued to see how he continues to develop. Ashworth, Newcastle United, like I say, they were persistent. They were like a dog in fucking heat when it came to signing Harrison Ashby, and you can see why, certainly from the little glimpses here and there that we've seen so far. And that was that. I don't think any injuries or nothing bad like that. Eddie Howe spoke about a few of the other players as well after the game. Dubravka, there's no conspiracy theory out there. Yeah, we take the tinfoil hats off. He was with the squad, but he's not fit enough yet to be joining in with the games. He came back a little bit later than everybody else. Why, we weren't told or afforded that information, but he is with the group, and he will be jetting over to the States, unlike Saint-Maximin. So I expect to see him involved over there. Nick Pope, he won't be involved until after this US tour. He can train, he can take part in stuff, he can't use his hands. So as a goalkeeper, that's a little bit of an issue. We won't see him until after this tour. Joe Linton didn't play last night. Again, no conspiracy, no issues there. He was down in London sorting out his visa issues so that he can get into the States. It stems back to obviously his drink driving and stuff like that. So that's causing a few issues, a few complications. He is expected to be over there, but he will not be with the rest of the group that travels out from Glasgow, I believe. He'll travel independently. He'll travel by himself over to the States to join up with the rest of the rest of the lads before the first game of this Premier League pre-season tournament. So all is good with Big Joe. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up yesterday's events. England triumphed over Scotland, the old adversaries. We may well see Rangers again this season, remember, because there is the possibility of Newcastle United drawing Rangers in the Champions League. That would be absolutely fantastic. A great day had by all Geordies up there. And you know, a full house at Ibrox for a pre-season friendly is absolutely off. Oh, you know, it's off the charts, isn't it? It really is off the charts. Absolutely fantastic. Two passionate sets of supporters inside the stadium, and not a seat available. So yeah, fantastic and great. And yeah, we await further news on Saint-Maximin. We await further news with regards to our pursuit of Harvey Barnes. Eddie Howe has said that, you know, there will be a couple of transfers that he is keen to do based off, you know, our FFP wiggle room once this deal is done. So again, speculation mania will probably be linked with a few players in the press over the next couple of days, and it's important that, you know, the hierarchy at Newcastle United, as much as, you know, we 100% trust them and we're behind them, everybody united, but it's important that they get the skates on and they get these players signed up double quick for Eddie to be able to integrate them into the you know, the culture at Newcastle United and the way of playing at Newcastle United before the all-important kick-off against Aston Villa, which is coming up in about a month's time or so. So yeah, it's just really important that the work is done to give us the best possible opportunity and the best possible chance to hit the ground running. We want a really positive start because we've got an extremely difficult beginning of you know, the season. Lots of complications. That random supercomputer that generates these fixtures certainly hasn't been kind to Newcastle United. So yes, an eventful 24 hours, a victory. We were much better in this game than what we were for the Gateshead game, but obviously lots of players coming back. As I touched on before, Newcastle United, we definitely, I think, were the better team in the first half. I think Rangers were probably the better team in the second half. That has, I think, a lot to do with the substitutions and the flow of the game and stuff. But Newcastle United's quality shone through. I thought that, again, pound for pound, player per player, we've obviously got a better team than what Rangers do. And quite a few of the Rangers fans were like, look, I'm quite pleased that we're not having to play that level of quality every single week. So that is a tip of the hat. That is a sign of respect from Rangers fans to Newcastle United fans, and it is a sign of the progress. And Eddie Howe said even after the match, there's more to come because we haven't had that much time to work on stuff on the training pitch. You know, they've just come back, they've done the testing, we've done bits. There's been the Gateshead game, there's been the Rangers game, and there's a high volume of matches and a quick turnaround to get them used to how the season's going to be ultimately, because it is going to be coming at them thick and fast, no doubt about that. So let me know down below what you thought of the game. Was it a fair reflection, the 2-1 victory for Newcastle? Anybody that really caught your eye? I touched upon earlier in the video, the likes of Elliot Anderson I thought was fantastic. Tonali was absolutely fantastic. Lewis Miley, I'll again sing the praises of. That lad will save Newcastle United tens of millions of pounds, I've no doubt about it. Eddie Howe was singing his praises after the game, you know, as well. I thought Murphy, the young centre-back, again was an interesting prospect, we shall say. He certainly caught my attention with, again, decent glimpses of what he can do. The potential is certainly there for the likes of Murphy, and it's great to see, you know, talented youngsters coming through at Newcastle. Anderson playing well. You had Sean Longstaff in the middle of the park as well. You've got Geordies here, there and everywhere. Players coming through, youngsters coming through. Newcastle United investing and pushing in the youth, and then you've got the likes of Harrison Ashby, who looks the part. And again, with regards to learning, if you're going to learn from the absolute best being at Newcastle, and that's why I wouldn't probably loan him out, because he's going to learn off Kieran Trippier. Learn from the best. What's he going to learn apart from getting minutes in the tank from a loan move to the likes of Swansea in the Championship? You know, sometimes it's a case of keeping him in-house and seeing him develop here, because I honestly think you'll get game time this season. You know, your cup games and stuff like that. It's you know, it's bound to, we're bound to need those extra bodies, and we're bound to need to protect the likes of Trippier and give Trippier a rest here and there. So let's keep him on Tyneside. But yeah, anyhow, lots of praise, and again, looking forward. It says there's much more to come, much more, and there's so much more work that they need to unpack on the training ground to get even better. So over to the hierarchy at Newcastle United now to get him all the players in that he needs. Can't wait for the next one. Looking forward to the next one. Looking forward to this American tour. Be able to stay up and watch it all because it's all on Sky, of course. So yeah, a few late nights, early mornings across all Geordies' homes back in the UK. We're looking forward to that. And yeah, as soon as anything breaks with regards to Saint-Maximin or any incoming transfers, we'll have another video up with Magpie 24/7 just as soon as possible. But yeah, let me know what you thought about the game down below. Who were your standout performers? And yeah, let me know about any business that you think Newcastle United should be doing, to get the squad where it needs to go, so that we can have another absolutely fantastic season on Tyneside. Can't wait for it all to fucking begin. Get me to this fucking Aston Villa game, first game of the season. Cannot fucking wait. So in the meantime, subscribe to Magpie 24/7. It does mean a lot. It doesn't cost anything, but it does help the old algorithm and helps boost the numbers up. So I appreciate the support. Hit the like button, and yeah, we'll be back just as soon as anything else breaks. So yeah, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.